So I used to be like, oh, I got Mike. And he's like, oh, you gonna guard me? I'm like, yeah, because you can't dribble. You can't got, and back then we used to handle. You ain't got no handle.
Michael said, I'm gonna play another 18. Chuck said, we got a game tonight. He says, I'll be good. We get to the game. David, you got this guy. Charles, you got this guy. Michael, you got this guy. Michael said, no, I got the point guard. What? You don't want to guard the two guard? Michael's kind of leaning down. Michael looked and said, I said I got the point guard. He said some shit about me in the newspaper, and I'm gonna get him. And we're looking at
Michael Jordan is a name that needs no introduction. Even those who have never watched a single NBA game recognize him as the ultimate standard of basketball greatness. Whenever the debate over the greatest player of all time arises, Jordan's name is always at the forefront. His legacy extends far beyond his dominance on the court. He transformed culture, fashion, and sports around the world. Whether you witnessed him leading the Chicago Bulls through their dynasty years or know him only through highlights, Jordan's influence is undeniable. What makes his story even more compelling is how other NBA legends, rivals, teammates, and successors alike speak about his impact on the game. Jordan's arrival in the NBA set the stage for unforgettable battles. At the time, Larry Bird was widely regarded as the league's best player. Their most iconic encounter came during the 1986 playoffs, when Jordan's Bulls faced Bird's powerhouse Celtics, a team many still consider one of the greatest ever assembled. The Celtics were loaded with Hall of Famers and elite defenders, yet none could contain Jordan. Bird later admitted that the entire Celtics lineup took turns trying to slow him down, but it was futile. Jordan erupted for 63 points that night, setting an NBA playoff scoring record. Although the Bulls lost, that game served as Jordan's grand announcement to the world. It was clear he was more than a rising star, he was the league's future. The performance symbolized a passing of the torch. As Bird and the Celtics began to fade, the NBA became Michael Jordan's domain, and he lived up to every expectation.
Playoff performance, I've never seen it before, and I had never seen it after. That wasn't Michael Jordan.
That moment became the stuff of legend. After that unforgettable game, fans began calling Michael Jordan his airness. What made it even more remarkable was who the admiration came from: Larry Bird, a three-time MVP known for his unmatched skill, toughness, and legendary trash talk. Bird was not one to hand out compliments, especially to opponents. So when he publicly acknowledged Jordan's brilliance, it meant far more than simple praise. It was a symbolic passing of the torch, a clear signal that the NBA was entering a new era of greatness. And you can't mention Bird without bringing up Magic Johnson. Their rivalry defined the 1980s, with their battles in the NBA Finals shaping the identity of an entire generation of basketball. Fierce competitors who later became close friends, Bird and Magic carried the league to global prominence. But in 1992, the world saw them in a new light. The Dream Team was assembled for the Olympics, a collection of basketball royalty featuring Bird, Magic, and the man who had already begun to eclipse them, Michael Jordan. Fresh off back-to-back championships and having just dethroned Magic in the 1991 finals, Jordan was already recognized as the best player in the world, but he wanted to make it official. One day during the Olympics, he boarded the team bus, walked past Bird and Magic, and with unshakable confidence declared that their reign was over. It was his league now.
There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Michael Jordan.
Really?
Yes. And we had dominated the league, both Larry and I, and the Celtics and the Lakers for the whole entire, the 80s. And so it was his turn. And so he just sat back, had his cigar, and just said, it's my league now.
Wow.
And
it's like a bad movie.
You know what we did, Jimmy?
Magic and Bird could only nod in agreement. There was no denying it anymore. Michael Jordan had officially taken control of the NBA. That was how the legends before him saw it. But what about the next generation, the rising stars of the late 90s who would one day become legends themselves? How did they experience Jordan? One of those young stars was Kevin Garnett. Today, Garnett is remembered as one of the fiercest competitors the game has ever seen, a relentless trash talker fueled by pure intensity. But as a rookie, he made one crucial mistake. He treated Michael Jordan like just another opponent. The story goes like this. During a game against the Bulls, one of Garnett's teammates was having an exceptional night. Fired up, the rookie couldn't contain himself. He started talking, hyping up his teammate, and shouting about how they were giving it to the Bulls, even to Jordan himself. Garnett was feeling good. Too good. Then he noticed something. Jordan had heard every word. The energy in the arena shifted instantly. Garnett could feel it, the temperature dropped, the crowd seemed to fade, and all that remained was Jordan's focus. He had taken it personally. And when Michael Jordan took something personally, the ending was always the same: someone was about to pay the price.
The next like 6 to 7 minutes of play, y'all. In this next 6 to 7 minutes of play, y'all, we get 2, not 1, 2 10-second calls. You know, when you bring the ball up, you gotta get across half court. 2 10-second calls. We down 25 now. It was just at 2. Mike had 18. He had like 40 now. JR, myself, we ain't scored.
The game flipped the moment Michael Jordan decided Kevin Garnett's trash talk was personal. In an instant, Jordan shifted gears. He locked in on defense, smothering every possession, then turned around and carved through the Timberwolves with effortless precision on offense. It wasn't just basketball anymore, it was retribution. Minnesota had no answers. The Bulls erupted on a furious run, and the game spiraled completely out of reach. Garnett would later admit that he and his teammates were drained, overwhelmed by Jordan's relentless intensity. More than anything, he remembered the regret, the sinking realization that his rookie trash talk had awakened the fiercest competitor the game had ever known.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. He like, it's cool, man. I told you, just shut your ass up, man. You're not so you got in between the Gatorade there where you like, damn, and next thing you know, we over there like this. And Mike came down, okay, young fella, okay, damn, young fella, damn, y'all.
From that night on, Kevin Garnett learned a lesson he would never forget: mess with the bull, and you get the horns. But to truly understand Michael Jordan's place in basketball history, you have to look even further back, before Bird and Magic, before the modern era of highlight reels and global superstardom. There was a time when the NBA was ruled by towering big men, and only one shooting guard managed to break through and carry the league on his shoulders, Jerry West. West's impact was so profound that his silhouette became the NBA's official logo, an immortal symbol of the game he helped define. More than just a prolific scorer, he was admired for his passion, discipline, and deep respect for greatness wherever he found it. Off the court, his eye for talent helped shape dynasties across multiple generations. On the court, his voice carried authority. So when Jerry West praised Michael Jordan, it wasn't merely a compliment, it was validation from the very man who once set the standard for excellence among guards in the NBA.
He and I are friends. And he never changes. This guy has done more spectacular things than any basketball player I've ever seen. And the thing that people don't realize is some of the stuff he could do. He was the best defensive player in the league.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a touch of irony in all this, because decades earlier, older players were likely saying the same things about Jerry West. On the perimeter, he was unmatched, a lethal scorer on offense and a relentless defender on the other end. Night after night, West delivered brilliance, setting a standard so high that it's only fitting he and Michael Jordan shared a deep mutual respect, even without ever facing each other on the court. Another name whose legacy has grown far beyond his playing days is Kenny, the Jet, Smith. Most fans today recognize him as the sharp, quick-witted voice of inside the NBA. But in the 1990s, Smith was a talented guard with a front-row seat to Jordan's dominance. What many don't realize, though, is that his connection to Jordan goes back much further, to their days as teammates at the University of North Carolina. Smith has often reflected on what it was like to witness Jordan up close before the world knew his name. Even then, during those college practices, Jordan's obsession with improvement stood out. He wasn't just gifted, he was relentless. Every weakness, every minor flaw, every detail became something to master. According to Smith, that tireless mindset was what truly set Jordan apart. The greatness the world later witnessed in the NBA was already being built, brick by brick, at UNC.
Like, his stuff is not an accident. Like, it's not like, oh, he was gifted. No. He was the most fundamentally sound player that ever played the game. If you watch the videos, his left hand is in the correct passing lane. His footwork is impeccable. Offensively, his jab step is always ball move, feet stay still. Like, all of those things were all the time. And then he was the best athlete. Most guys who were athletic didn't.
On Draymond Green's podcast, Kenny Smith pulled back the curtain on a side of Michael Jordan most fans never saw. According to Smith, the young Jordan wasn't flawless. In fact, his ball handling was a noticeable weakness early on, something Smith could even exploit in practice. But it was there, in those moments, that Smith witnessed the defining trait that truly separated Jordan from everyone else, his obsession with improvement. Jordan didn't just accept his flaws, he confronted them head-on. Smith recalled summers when Jordan would spend countless hours perfecting the same moves, drilling each motion until his weaknesses vanished. And when he came back, those once exploitable gaps weren't just fixed, they had transformed into weapons. What began as vulnerability became dominance. It was this relentless, almost maniacal drive to evolve that molded Michael Jordan into the player the world would one day call the greatest of all time.
That was his weaknesses, were his strengths when he left the league. His ball handling, his shooting, his turnaround jump shot, his post game was probably some of his weaknesses. Those were his strengths when he left the league.
It's almost impossible to picture Michael Jordan without his signature moves, the flawless footwork in the post, the unstoppable turnaround jumper, and the effortless ball handling that left defenders frozen. Yet, there was a time when those weapons weren't part of his game. What truly set Jordan apart wasn't that he entered the league as the most complete player, but that he refused to accept imperfection. Every weakness became a mission. Every flaw, an opportunity. By the time he reached his prime, there was nothing left for opponents to exploit. Jordan had sculpted himself into the most complete player basketball had ever seen. That transformation is what elevated him beyond superstardom. He became the ultimate idol, an embodiment of discipline, drive, and excellence. His influence stretched far beyond fans. It inspired generations of players determined to follow in his footsteps. Even among the game's greats, that aura was undeniable. Kobe Bryant once described being around Jordan as a surreal experience, like standing face to face with the living, breathing essence of basketball itself.
Up in basketball heaven. It's a metaphor for life, right? And to just be there, to be able to experience, something that Hall of Fame is great. Getting your jersey retired is great. For me, as a kid, I didn't have my family there. I didn't really want my family there. That was individually my moment as a young kid growing up, wanting to be one of the greatest ever played a game.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to put on that.
When Kobe Bryant entered the NBA in 1996, he arrived as a fearless high school prodigy determined to prove he belonged among the game's elite. Standing in his way was the ultimate measuring stick, Michael Jordan. At the time, Jordan was at the peak of his dominance, collecting championships and MVPs with effortless consistency. For Kobe, simply being in the league wasn't enough. He wasn't chasing fame or validation, he was chasing greatness itself. Jordan wasn't just an idol to him, he was the standard. The target. The one Kobe set out not only to match, but eventually to surpass.
What's it like to guard Mike? Yo, Mike? You mean Black Jesus? I'm like, what the fuck? Black who? Oh, we call him Black Jesus. Or you can call him Black Cat. I'm like, I'm gonna call him fucking Mike. That's his fucking name. So the level of fear that he inspired in others was insane. Wow. And I would tell him, I said, when I face him, we're gonna go at it. He says, oh, you don't wanna do.
This moment reveals two undeniable truths about these legends. First, Kobe Bryant entered the league without fear. As a teenager, he carried himself with a confidence that surpassed many veterans, utterly convinced from day one that he belonged among the greats. Second, Michael Jordan's presence in the 1990s was unlike anything the sport had ever seen. He wasn't just the best player in basketball, he was an aura, a force so powerful that his very name dominated every conversation about the game. That's how completely he ruled the decade, yet, not everyone attributes that dominance solely to Jordan himself. Some believe the Chicago Bulls dynasty was as much about the team as it was about its star. One of the strongest voices supporting that view came from within the dynasty itself, Scottie Pippen. Jordan's most iconic teammate, his right-hand man through 6 championships, stunned fans when he publicly criticized MJ's style of play. In a now famous TMZ interview, Pippen described Jordan as a flawed player, directly challenging the long-standing notion that Jordan carried the Bulls on his own.
Can't do it. Like, I seen Michael Jordan play before I came to play with the Bulls. You guys seen him play. He's a horrible player. He was horrible to play with. He was all one-on-one. He's shooting bad shots. And all of a sudden...
Another perspective came from Robert Horry, better known as Big Shot Rob. Unlike most stars of the 90s, Horry managed to win championships without ever wearing a Chicago Bulls jersey, which made his voice especially interesting in any discussion about that era. Maybe Pippen's comments shouldn't have been all that surprising. In many ways, he was seeking overdue recognition for his own role as Jordan's greatest sidekick. And if anyone had earned the right to critique Michael Jordan, it was Scottie Pippen. He shared the floor with him longer than anyone else, but criticism of Jordan wasn't limited to his teammates. Horry's take on Jordan is particularly fascinating because it flips the usual script. We're used to hearing stories about Jordan striking fear into opponents, but according to Horry, there was actually one player who could turn the tables and make Jordan uneasy.
Hakeem Olajuwon, he used to call us, I'm scared of the big African because he's from Nigeria. That's what he used to say because, you know, and the people out who are Chicago Bulls fans, I know this question comes up a lot. They always wonder, those 2 championships we won in Houston, we would have won them with Michael Jordan would have been playing? The answer to that question is yes, because they couldn't stop Olajuwon. We might not be able to...
A matchup between the 1990s Houston Rockets and the Chicago Bulls would have been the stuff of basketball dreams, 2 dynasties colliding at their peaks. With Hakeem Olajuwon anchoring Houston, he stood as perhaps the only superstar of that era truly capable of challenging Michael Jordan's flawless finals record. Jordan's 646 championship record remains one of the rarest feats in sports, a cornerstone of his claim as the greatest of all time. That perfection continues to fuel the never-ending GOAT debate, especially when his legacy is compared to that of LeBron James. LeBron's career has produced staggering numbers, longevity, and moments of undeniable greatness. Yet his finals losses remain a flashpoint for fans and analysts alike. Even in 2017, during another exhausting finals run, LeBron was breaking records and rewriting history, and still, the comparisons to Jordan persisted. But when asked about MJ, LeBron's response cut through all the noise. He wasn't focused on surpassing him. Instead, he spoke with humility and admiration, calling Michael Jordan his ultimate basketball idol, the man who made him fall in love with the game in the first place.
My leg and folded it down so you saw the red part. For no reason. I wore black and red shoes with white socks. I wore short shorts so you could see my undershorts underneath. I didn't go.
It's always refreshing to hear LeBron James speak so highly of Michael Jordan, even amid the endless GOAT debate that constantly pits the two against each other. When LeBron himself openly calls Jordan his idol, it speaks volumes about who truly stands at the top. Shifting back to Jordan's playing days, one of his most memorable on-court rivals was Reggie Miller. Known for his sharp tongue and fearless competitiveness, Miller never backed down from anyone, not even from the game's biggest star. As a young player, he made the bold mistake of trying to talk trash to Michael Jordan. Predictably, it didn't end well. Jordan didn't just hear the words, he absorbed them, turned them into fuel, and unleashed his wrath on the court. Reggie Miller learned the hard way what so many others had before him: provoking Michael Jordan was a mistake few survived unscathed.
He looked at me and started shaking his head. So at half, I have 10 and he has 4 points, right? I'm doing all this talking. He's like, okay. Into the game in the second half, he ended up with 44 and I ended up with 12. So he outscored me 40-2. And as he's walking on...
Reggie Miller learned his lesson the hard way. Michael Jordan was not the man to test with trash talk. With MJ, it was like flipping a switch. One word of disrespect, and he shifted into full takeover mode. What made it even more remarkable, and at times almost comical, was that Jordan thrived on the trash talk. The more you tried to rattle him, the more dangerous he became. That ruthless edge was the cornerstone of his mindset. Jordan wasn't just talented, he was merciless. And every rival knew it. Patrick Ewing, one of Jordan's longest-standing adversaries, captured this perfectly when asked to compare Jordan and LeBron James. To Ewing, and to so many who faced him, Jordan wasn't simply great. He was relentless. The ultimate competitor who never eased up, no matter the opponent, the score, or the stakes.
The way that the way that he played, everything that he brought to the table, not to take anything away from LeBron or Kobe. LeBron is great, but Michael was a killer from day one. He was an assassin from day one. I thought that LeBron had to learn how to be an assassin. He was great now. Like if you ask me who would I want to play with,
all of this paints a vivid picture of the kind of player Michael Jordan truly was. Undeniably one of the greatest to ever set foot on the hardwood, he possessed qualities that set him apart from everyone else. Those who faced him firsthand understood the difference, the precision, the relentlessness, the unshakable refusal to accept defeat. Jordan ruled the league with an iron grip, dismantling challenges one after another while surpassing the legends who came before him. It's for that reason so many NBA greats still speak of him with awe. Decades later, through endless debates, rivalries, and comparisons, one truth continues to echo across generations: Michael Jordan remains, in the eyes of players and fans alike, the greatest basketball player of all time.